Today we're going over the Zenless Zone Zero version 3.0 special program. I'll also talk a little bit about the 10-minute gameplay showcase for our new Season 3 destination, Roscaelifer. The program itself was just under an hour long, so there's a lot to discuss. I do want to make it clear that unlike last year, version 3.0 is not the anniversary update. Even though ZZZ's anniversary is July 4th, the full celebration will be in version 3.1. That being said, version 3.0 has a ton of free goodies and will have a lot to explore in Roscaelifer. Before we begin, the redemption code is Beyond the Clouds. Enter that in-game for 300 polychromes. Let's start with general Season 3 info. At the end of Season 2, Phaethon is invited to Roscaelifer by Velina and Norma to help suppress the power that was unleashed when Pyrois merged with Remiel's Void Hunter weapon, Damiel. While receiving treatment, the Phaethon siblings are going to be acting as transfer students, hence their new outfits. It appears they'll be attending Aurelia Academy, and their place of residence for this location is like a dorm in Amber Hall. By the way, Billy and Cecilia will be accompanying us to Roscaelifer, and they're going to get rooms in the same dorm as Belle and Wise. Obviously, we don't know if they're going to be with us the whole time, but we know the Cunning Hares are somehow in Roscaelifer. Severian seems to be sticking around in Season 3 as well, so we'll probably see Billy and Cecilia more this year. Back to the Phaethon siblings, they have shots of Belle and Wise dealing with their Scorched Horizon form. Somehow they'll have to tame this power, and the result is Pyrois. Not surprising, they didn't really say a lot about what Pyrois is, but Pyrois is going to be the playable stand-in for Phaethon. Pyrois will be the first agent from the Phaethon faction, which is crazy to say after all this time. While Pyrois will be the main fighter, Belle and Wise do appear in its animations. They get a gun, which was conveniently not talked about. Besides dealing with otherworldly powers, Belle and Wise will have the chance to explore a whole new locale. They showcase some of the sights to see in the Buastrom district, which is filled with many different Bangbu. Some of the locations are Emerald Central Park and the Spotlight Theater. It did seem like you need to wear this Bangbu headpiece to get access to that. The new daily login mechanic will be at Roaring Breckies. Here you can open a surprise box each day. The Tin Master in Roscaelifer will run Couple Moment, and yes, we're dropping coffee for tea this year. Like in Wi-Fi, Random Play is opening another branch. I don't think we've seen a Bangbu number 9 before. In Central Park, there's a wishing well or pool. The statue is pretty similar to the one at Port Elpis, and you can actually toss in bottle caps, which can be gotten from Roaring Breckies. Roscaelifer is pretty big, and for fun, you can take an airbus around. The devs mentioned that you can visit a hidden route if you take the airbus during nighttime. For new exploration mechanics, you can take control of the city's cameras and get access to information hidden before. We'll also be able to control drones by having eels use them like a jetpack. 3D exploration should open up a lot more puzzle types and secrets. Besides fighting, Pyrois will serve as another form of transportation. While exploring the combat zones in Scamal Hollow, Pyrois will sprint along these tracks, and it's a neat little interactable set piece. In Roscaelifer, we're going to be encountering singularity leakages. These spatial hazards will alter the area like a hollow, so that's going to add more ways to explore. For new enemy types, we're going to be encountering corrupted city Garbu mechs. The big boss type enemy was called Gertablulu or something. They called it a scorpion, and this guy appears in the trailer, so I'm not sure it's like a main antagonist or it's just a big ethereal we'll fight often. Now, this enemy uses the corruptive barrier mechanic, so it's another anomaly boss. It's also introducing a new dual parry perfect assist mechanic. It does look pretty neat, but I'm not sure it's going to work with evasive assist, which is a concern. While we explore and fight in Roscaelifer, we're going to be tracking our progress with Interbu. This appears to be the new locale introduction system, and it's kind of like a more robust version of the Bullion Store combined with Officer Mew Mew. Interbu will keep a log of events and quests plus things we collected, and it's going to reveal stories about the island. The devs again mentioned that you can unlock some clues about the nighttime airbus. Besides stories, the system will also showcase character information for various agents and NPCs. The devs mentioned that Interbu systems will be getting updated over time, and the statue is going to be changing its appearance. One of the events for this update will be an intelligence dossier for Roscaelifer. As usual, this is just a way to reward players for going out and exploring. It also acts like a guide for stuff to do. Onto some main story stuff, there appears to be some mysterious things happening in Roscaelifer. Angel has been quietly assisting Bangbu from the shadows. Meanwhile, Norma and Velina's department, the external strategy department, has created a new Bangbu chip that was causing self-destruction incidents. Seems like we'll be doing a dissection of a Bangbu at some point. there's also some incidents happening in Roscaelifer's Hollow Energy Hub. While investigating, Remio will appear, and it seems like she's going to be helping us out. Should be interesting because currently she's wanted for trying to assassinate Lady Sunbringer. They even have wanted posters in the city. We'll have to wait to find out more in the Season 3 Chapter 1 main story, A Sleepwalker's Confession. Now's a good time to talk more about Roscaelifer's different factions. There are 5 central departments, and we got a bit more info on who is in charge of each of them. First is the Administrative Affairs Department. The AAD is headed by the Administrative Director, Eldrada Sunbringer. To no surprise, Lady Sunbringer and the AAD are the main governing body of Roscaelifer, and she holds decision-making power over all operations. The second department is the Central Computing Department. The CCD is responsible for generating the Rosetta data, which is used to calibrate real-time holodata so you can make carrots. The Rosetta data has been mentioned before, but I don't think we knew it was coming from Roscaelifer. Now, the director of the CCD is Dracane Sunbringer. That would be the unknown girl we saw from the Season 3 teaser. So yeah, there are 2 Sunbringers. The third group is the Aerospace Patrol Department. The APD are the armed forces for Roscaelifer, acting like a military, security, and disaster relief. The director of the APD is Linvern Sunbringer. Not 1, not 2, but we have 3 different Sunbringers. We never get a clear shot of Linvern, but we do get some glimpses. Her horns are different from the main Sunbringer we've seen, which is Eldrada. Not confirmed, but considering there are a bunch of Roscaelifer Knights, I'm assuming this person walking by could be Linvern. Now, they didn't show too much, but a character that will appear more in 3.0 is Sigrid. We learned she is the Deputy Administrative Director for the APD, so I'm assuming she's the second in command behind Linvern. The next department is Flint Workshop, which is labeled as a support department. They are in charge of porcelain research and manufacturing. The infographic dropped a nice detail that most Void Hunter weapons were made by the Flint family. You know, I didn't really think about it, but that's probably why it's called Flint Porcelain as well. Now, the director for Flint Workshop is Clevert Flint, who we saw in the Season 3 teaser. It didn't seem like she's going to appear this early, but maybe Claret will be pretty important considering the focus on Void Hunter weapons lately. Now, the last group is the External Strategy Department, also labeled as a support department. The ESD is responsible for connecting Roscaelifer with New Eridu, and they operate under the Marcel group name. They are the main group focused on Bang Boots. Velina is the director, and Norma is the chief technician for the group. They'll be our main focus for 3.0's story and events. Velina and Norma will naturally be our first playable Season 3 agents. Velina is the first S-rank Wind Anomaly agent. We got a sneak peek at Wind Anomaly's mechanics before, and Velina is going to probably be our main source of it for the next year. As a refresher, Wind Anomaly inflicts Windswept. You can contaminate Windswept foes with another attribute to deal bonus damage. When you apply a different anomaly during this time, you will trigger Vortex instead of Disorder. Windswept will not be removed until its duration runs out, meaning you can keep triggering Vortex multiple times. Velina's addition ability requires an anomaly agent or a wind agent, which is not possible for now. Double anomaly teams it is. This addition ability will buff Windswept and Vortex damage. From Velina's core passive, she spawns small condensed cyclones whenever you trigger Vortex. She also gains 1 Wind Bite stack. After you get 2 Wind Bite, the next Vortex is going to trigger a larger sweeping cyclone and buff the Vortex damage. Now, when any cyclone ends, Velina triggers a Winnobloom. The big sweeping cyclone can also match the attribute you contaminated Windswept with. This is just like Yuzuha's Trigger Burst Sparkles. Velina can apply any anomaly type with her big cyclones, and they even reduce the foe's anomaly buildup resistance. Very important to understand that the cyclones are coming from Velina, they are not part of the Wind Anomaly itself. To generate more cyclones, when Velina uses her EX specials, she gains Windbloom. When you fill the Windbloom gauge to the mark, you can hold basic or special to summon a sweeping cyclone on demand. It also triggers a backwards quick assist. Velina's ultimate is another way to get a quick assist in this fashion. Basically, Velina wants to apply Windswept, then you bring in your second anomaly agent to trigger Vortex over and over. The more Vortexes you cause, the more cyclones Velina spawns, which means she triggers more blooms. To assist her team, the big sweeping cyclones can match the attribute of your second anomaly agent and help with build-up. Again, Velina is kind of like Yuzuha, just as a proper anomaly DPS. We could see another Wind Anomaly agent this year, but who knows for sure. As the shiny new attribute for Season 3, I'm sure Velina will be plenty useful. Next up, our 4th S-rank fire stunner is Norma. Just a little bit more competition, so what does Norma bring to the table? If you hold basic attack, Norma tosses her hat into the air and triggers a backwards quick assist. If you have enough of Norma's preheated chamber points, she will replace your ally's quick assist with a chain attack. Now that is interesting. They use Billy as an example, and he gains 15 determination per chain attack. Obviously, as a fire stunner, Norma should be fun with Evelyn, whose whole thing is spamming chain attacks. Soldier 11 also benefits from chain attacks now after her rework, and Monato can get some healing after his chain attack triggers. Definitely a lot of good teammate potential, although is it enough to beat Lighter's big fire damage buffs or say Dalian's extra ultimates? Continuing, for Norma to get preheated chamber points, she gains it passively on field and off field. When you switch Norma out, her hat stays around and collects chamber points for her. When it has enough for a chain attack, it will run toward Norma because, of course, the hat is a bang boot. Now for other ways to get preheated chamber points, Norma can use her EX special. She's able to hold the button down to fire more missiles, and after she spawns 2 turrets onto the field. Norma's other trait seems to be somewhat focused on damage dealing. If the foe is not stunned, her turrets use machine gun fire for extra days. If they are stunned, the turrets fire high damage missiles instead. After Nangong, I'm really curious how much damage newer stunners will be able to contribute. Now, for one more way to build preheated chamber points, you can use Norma's amazing ultimate. Kinda like Evelyn's jacket, Norma can use her ultimate with or without her hat on. Overall, Norma does not seem to be another anomaly-focused stunner, so she should be teaming up with attack and rupture agents instead of Velina. She does not seem to need a lot of field time, and you're going to want agents with strong chain attacks or effects that trigger via chain attacks. A Norma plus Astra team could be pretty interesting. Another potential ally for Norma is Pyrois. Phaethon's etheric other is an S-rank ether attack agent. Interestingly, Pyrois' S-rank is sideways. Another fun detail is that you can swap your sibling of choice while exploring, and they will be the one that shows up in battle. Belle and Wise will even bring their different outfits into the fight. I'm not sure if you can use the horse head accessory, but I sure hope so. Now, Pyrois' main gameplay revolves around building up solar prominence by attacking. They can spend prominence for a cool enhanced basic attack for good damage. Pyrois' additional ability requires stun or support agents. This will grant bonus crit damage, and using chain attacks will grant extra decibels. Sounds like Norma should be a fun partner, plus you get to see Belle and Wise more. The main gimmick for Pyrois is that they have 4 separate ultimates which you can choose from on this screen. Each ultimate has a different use case. The upper branch ultimate restores prominence and enters the Mirage state. During this time, Pyrois' ultimate deals bonus damage to stunned enemies. The lower branch ultimate will enter the Sunflare state. Pyrois gets an energy generation rate buff and a damage buff. In addition, Pyrois' EX special can now restore prominence if you trigger a perfect block. Now the left branch ultimate is interesting. It grants bonus damage if you hit a foe in the contamination state. That means you need to apply Windswept first. Velina doesn't really want to work with attackers, so the left ult may need to wait for more wind-related agents in the future. As for the right branch ultimate, Pyrois gains Totalize. This was Hugo's main mechanic, where landing Totalize on stun foes deals big damage. Pyrois will end the stun phase with Totalize, but they do not have any days refunding like Hugo does. To go with their 4 unique ultimates, Pyrois also seems to only consume 2000 decibels per ult. Combined with the chain attacks granting extra decibels, you can kinda see where this is going. Norma and Astra granting extra chain attacks should be fun. Dalian can just grant an entire extra ultimate herself. Jifufu's 300 decibel refund with the extra 1000 decibels to hold on to could mean double ultimates in extreme situations. Pyrois may not be a limited banner S-rank agent, but they certainly are unique and have room to grow. The reason I say this is that naturally, Pyrois is free. You will unlock them by playing through the 3.0 main story. Also unlocked through the story is Belle and Wise's new outfits. Just like the Youngquay attire, these should be permanently available. You just gotta make it to Roscaelifer. Now initially, Pyrois will not be fully complete. This is because you can only unlock up to Mindscape 2. As we progress through Season 3, we will get all 6 Mindscapes. As a very nice surprise, the devs are also giving us an S-rank signature W-Engine for Pyrois themselves, zzzgameplay. You will need to do a little work to get these rewards. For the Mindscapes, you need to collect Pixel Fairy Tales, which comes from exploring. For zzzgameplay, you need to level up your General Interboo account, which is also done by exploring. This is the main Roscaelifer system we talked about earlier. You can see the W-Engine on the main UI as a reward. Both the Mindscapes and the signature W-Engine are free as long as you're playing the game essentially. If you want Velina or Norma, unfortunately they are going to cost your precious tapes. For the Phase 1 banners, Velina is available with her signature Joyao Dore, or however you say that. Joining Velina will be Ye Shengguang, our latest Void Hunter. For the A-ranks, you can get Nicole and Piper at a higher rate. If you don't have any of the limited S-rank anomaly agents, then Piper will be your main Velina partner for now. As a notice, Phase 1 lasts for 3 weeks, it's going to end around July 8th. For Phase 2, you can get Norma and her signature Chief Sidekick. Her rerun partner is Suna, who should work with Norma as an attack buffer plus stun damage buffer. Suna is also amazing for Xiaoguang since she triggers Ether Veil. Now for A-ranks, you can get a higher rate for Poker and Ben. Phase 2 also lasts for 3 weeks, which is really interesting. That's going to mean that version 3.1 begins at the end of July, which is almost an entire month after the July 4th anniversary. I assumed they were going to do something funky with the schedule to get to 3.1 earlier, but I guess not. If you needed time to save for a certain white-winged Void Hunter who probably will be in 3.1, then this is probably a good thing for you. Now the last summonable unit in 3.0 is Ultra Jake. This Bang Boo requires Roscaelifer agents and can grant bonus energy to the team while boosting its own damage. It is a fire damage Bang Boo, so probably to fit in with Norma since she's the chief technician. In the shop, Velina is going to have a blue butterfly and dragonfly inspired outfit. Sorry, this one will cost real money. It will be on sale during version 3.0 like normal, and then go to the usual cost after. Next, let's talk about more events happening in version 3.0. Bang Bang, the Genius, and the Miracle Chip involves Norma and her Bang Boo Chip project. This event seems to be a spin-off of the Auto Chess mode. This time you need to activate skills manually, gotcha for more Bang Boo, and equip different gear for your team. They said this was a permanent mode, and I want to say it's going to be similar to the Sweep and Tempo Management just with actual Bang Boo fights. You're going to be able to send Bang Boo to train automatically, so I assume this will be a longer ongoing type event. There were even city anecdotes to help level up faster. For rewards, you can get titles, name cards, and this is how you get that Bang Boo mask we saw earlier. Next, Assemble Mock Exam Comeback Plan involves a new minigame kinda like Bazaar Brigade, but it does look like a more traditional bullet hell. You can combine weapons into stronger variants, and there are agent-specific characters. Seems like you can pick between Velina, Miyabi, Starlight Billy, Norma, and a surprise Sigrid. Not sure if it's just her weapon, but Sigrid is shooting ice projectiles. We did see her weapon from the trailer had an ice-looking symbol on it, so maybe further confirmation she's going to be an ice agent. Now, for completing this event, you can get an A-rank W-Engine, Boisterous Echoes. This is an anomaly W-Engine. Velina does invite you to participate in this event, so maybe it's an A-rank option for her. In Tales of the Hobbling Crow, we're getting arrested by Hobble the Bang Boo. It was only a matter of time. Well, to resolve whatever's going on, you can complete missions with Hobble and Detective Crow to crack the case. Next, we have a combat event, Annihilation Simulacrum. This is a high difficulty boss mode with new boss mechanics, and apparently we're fighting Billy at some points. They didn't say anything about that, but I do hope Billy calls out all his moves before he does them. Now, this mode will feature no specific attribute weaknesses or resistances. You can use who you want, but in the extreme mode, there's going to be a select group of agents you have to pick from. Velina and Norma are available if you'd like to try them out more. In Gleaming Shadow Team Battle, we have the return of the 2 agent tag teams. Switch between 2 sets of teams to gain different buffs while relaying energy and decibels back and forth. Art is Bang Boo appears to be the login event for this version. You can unlock different artwork rewards just by checking in daily, and you can try to get the grand prize. For something you can do before Season 3, there's an event going on right now called Good Morning Roscaelifer. This is a story web event like the Angels of Delusion one a while back. You're going to have to help out a little Bang Boo make decisions, and there's a log of all your possible endings. This event also acts like a countdown till the release of Season 3. Next, we got double drops for leveling materials and drive discs. You're gonna need that because we have 2 new drive disc sets. Weathering Salon is for Velina. It grants 10% wind damage, and using EX Special grants 25 anomaly proficiency for 40 seconds up to 2 times. If you trigger Windswept, you get 18% bonus damage for 40 seconds. Should be extremely easy to keep up on Velina. The other disc set, The Sky Above, surprisingly seems like it's for Pyrois. 10% ether damage and 30% crit damage. When using EX Specials or Ultimate, you get 10% attack in combat for 30 seconds. Pyrois could use Chaotic Metal, but if you don't want to trigger Corruption, then I'd think using EX Special every 30 seconds is a good bit easier. Instead of extra crit damage, you're just going to get extra attack. Onto optimizations, they now are going to display the number of good substat rows you have on your agent's drive disc. They're also adding a smart discard function for disc. I have no idea what settings you can pick from, so we'll just have to see how it works in-game. If you set an agent as your training target, then at Bardic Needle, the shop is going to list the recommended sets at the top for easier navigation. On the Compendium UI, they now display battery charge info. I actually appreciate that change. For a big update in version 3.0, you will now be able to equip certain accessories on all proxy outfits. Remember, whatever outfit you have on will also be used with Pyrois in battle. It does seem like you can use most accessories however you want. For the events menu, they're adding a new video demo for certain events. That's nice. Next, in the agent descriptions, they're adding a new UI for explaining certain skill text. From the examples they showed, it almost looked exactly the same as how they handled it in Genshin. You can select the underlying text and a pop-up window will appear. This is also going to be used for game mode mechanics, so looking forward to that. For PC, they're adding ray tracing options. This will mainly affect lighting and how it affects different materials, plus you get to see much more detailed reflections. They're also bringing DLSS super resolution functionality for those that want more frames per second. For some IRL events, there is another Return to Redo web event where you can participate for polychromes and the chance for real prizes. Coming soon, Velina and Norma is going to have promotional videos. They each will get a demo, and then Velina has a teaser while Norma is going to have an EP. In the last special program, they announced signups for testing the Steam client of ZZZ. Well, ZZZ officially launches on Steam June 17th, which is the start of Season 3. I myself have been able to try out the Steam version, and it's pretty much exactly the same as the hoyoplay PC launcher. If you want the Steam features though, like tracking your playtime or just being able to use your Steam wallet, then check it out. In July, ZZZ will continue to attend Anime Expo in Los Angeles. They're going to have exclusive merch, live events, and sessions with the voice actors. HoyoFest 2026 is also in July for Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. For all of these events, check the official social media accounts for more details in the future. Last, producer Jenyu Lee is back to go over the big rewards for version 3.0. We have already covered most of them, but let's take stock again. Bell and Wise's new outfits plus Pyrois are all free as long as you make your way through the 3.0 main story. Pyrois' full Mindscapes will be unlocked later, but you can get Mindscape 2 now by leveling up the Interboost system. You can also unlock Pyrois' Signature W-Engine. In version 3.0, they are distributing 1600 polychromes. On release day, you can get 600, and then on the July 4th anniversary, you can get another 1000. Naturally, this will be on the top of the usual login events for 10 encrypted master tapes with 10 boopons. You should be able to claim these 20 rows before Velina's banner ends, plus there should be a lot of polychromes by exploring Roscaelifer. Final reminder that ZZZ's true anniversary celebration is going to be held in version 3.1. They let us know previously that 3.1 was also going to have some big developments for the story, and pretty much everyone is assuming Ramiel will be our anniversary agent. I don't know if it was intentional, but one of the developers did refer to Ramiel as an agent, so yeah, I'm expecting her to be playable. There's another sign of this in the 10-minute gameplay preview. On the topic, let's talk more about this preview. It did show a lot, but if you're watching this video, I assume you're fine with some light spoilers. I would recommend you check out the video for yourself because it's just pure gameplay, but I want to discuss a few key details. First, they showcase the Roscaelifer map, and it's honestly pretty dang big. Emerald Central Park is the bottom middle section, while the top middle is the main Central Computing Department building. That's where the big CCD clock tower building is. The top left section is Beckford Street, which is where the main hub is going to be. This is where Cup of Moment, Roaring Breckies, and the Amber Hall dorm room is located. Across the street is the Aurelia Academy. Here is where the 3.0 events will take place, like the Bangbu Auto Chess spinoff. The second half of the preview showed exploration and gameplay for Norma and Pyrois. They showed some of the cutscenes where it seems like we're going to be having to deal with some rogue Bangbu. For combat, they showcased what seemed to be a story mission. We know we're going to encounter Ramiel again, but we can see that she will also be assisting us in battle. Upcoming playable agents have done similar off-field attacks as a small tease, so yeah, I do feel like it's highly likely Ramiel will be in 3.1 as our Void Hunter. Like the other Void Hunter agents, she seems to have some crazy AoE attacks. For a smaller detail, in this showcase, you can see Belle appear to attack from off-field with her gun. This also happens in the special program, but they didn't say anything about that. I'm just gonna assume it's more just for flair. Now, the next section is a more action-packed example of the new Pyrois traversal system. During this mission, Ramiel is flying all around, and we're trying to avoid this giant white worm ethereal. It's a really cool set piece, although we now know that the rail running will be an actual mechanic for exploring. Now for the 3.0 trailer, we can see Remio is probably going to cook whatever this worm thing is. I'm really curious to learn more about what her actual Void Hunter weapon can do. The end of this preview was gameplay against the new 3.0 boss with the silly name. Surprisingly, we got footage of Velina with her new outfit. They really don't showcase gameplay with the outfits much, so that's a surprise. I don't really have anything to add regarding the gameplay besides that Premiere should do well with Velina. Velina triggers the blooms, Premiere buffs the blooms, sounds like a good time to me. Also, not that anyone should be surprised, but Yuzuha plus Velina is going to be disgusting. 2 agents who can help apply any anomaly type is crazy. It's gonna be another fun year for anomaly teams. Alright, let's end it here because that was a lot of talking. Season 3 of Zenless Zone Zero will be here in about a week and a half on June 17th or 16th if you're in the Americas. If you're on PC, the Steam version will also be releasing its full version. Personally, I'm very impressed with the scale of Roscaelifer. It is just so much bigger than Wi-Fi. I am surprised they also revealed that there are 3 Sunbringers. Now you have to wonder if they're gonna make them all playable, and would they all be Void Hunter level in terms of strength? That would be kinda hilarious, although not sure the Polychrome stash would agree. So many questions left unanswered, but for now, thank you for watching. Start getting ready for Season 3 of ZZZ, and I will see you in the next video.